The case design that characterized 2017 PC building, tempered glass, took the world by storm, and now into 2018, they're still going strong. Admittedly, it took me a long time to get my hands on a tempered glass case, but thanks to Anidees, I finally have an opinion of my own on the matter. Oh, and to the marketing team at Anidees, I'm really sorry it took me so long to get to this. Welcome back to comptv, the place you can go for all things tech. Feels good to say that. I'll start this off with some basic specs and technical info, but honestly, since everyone and their grandmother has already reviewed the Anidees AI Crystal, the main thing I can offer here is my own personal opinion of the case and my response to a few of the concerns about this case and its design. As always, I'm going to give my honest opinion, and although I have had this case for about a year, all joking aside, my extra time being able to use the case has actually helped me to develop a more solid opinion of the case as opposed to making a review after only having it a few days. And no shade here, I'm just looking for the silver lining here after having the case for an entire year. Yeah. In fact, a quick search of a few in the online stores showed that this variant isn't really being sold anymore, but there are a few other similar cases by Anidees still being sold, so we can still talk about it. Again, my specific case is the AI Crystal White, and as the name suggests, it's the white themed counterpart to the black themed AI Crystal. Anidees also offers this same styled case with a few variations such as a light version and, who would have guessed it, an RGB version. Digging into the specs, what other place to start but the front I/O. Located on the top edge of the front of the case, you'll find a fan speed controller, mic and headphone jack, light up power and reset buttons, and 4 USB ports. 2 USB 3 and 2 USB 2. This turned out to be the perfect number of USB ports for me, and I did like the easy to reach fan speed controller, though I usually just leave it at high the whole time. Yeah, I guess my build is pretty loud. Along those same lines, there's room for up to 7 fans, and the case itself comes with 4 of them. This case came with white LEDs, but depending on the version you get, the lighting scheme will match the rest of the case. Either way, you shouldn't have any cooling issues, which I'll touch on in a second. A nice bonus feature in this case is the fan hub that comes pre-installed. This is connected to the speed controller mentioned earlier, and here you can connect up to 6 fans that can span the top and front of the case. Actually, if you want to utilize it, this case can support up to a 360mm radiator on both the top and front, or multiple 120 to 140mm fans. And thankfully, magnetic dust filters are included in both locations. There's also a dust filter on the bottom for the PSU as well, which can be easily removed and reinstalled. Seriously though, I've checked out the cleanliness of this case over the course of the last year, and I haven't noticed any significant dust buildup. So the combo of the type of pressure in my case mixed with the dust filters seems to be doing a pretty good job, considering the mesh of the filters seems to be more aesthetic than functional. Regardless, the nice magnetic method they use to attach the filters make them easy to take off and maintain. Not that cleaning cases is all that hard to begin with, but you get the point. This case also supports various standard motherboard sizes such as mini ITX up to extended ATX, so basically anything. Also, there's a hard drive bay on the bottom and a few SSD mounts located behind the motherboard tray, so you have enough room to fit up to 5 SSDs or a combo of SSDs and 3.5-inch drives. The components look great by the way, since there are plenty of cable management options on the case. I think most cases should get cable management options right at this point, since we builders are much more conscious and knowledgeable about it. I also dig the covered slots to the right of the motherboard, since the 24-pin cables are just so massive. Actually, even better, and another added perk of this case, is that this slot cover actually doubles as a video card anti-sag mechanism. But unfortunately, that only works if you have a longer PCB, which my video card does not. And of course, you have to mention the 5mm tempered glass located on the 2 sides and front of the case. This provides both a beautiful aesthetic and the overwhelming stress of trying to move your case without breaking everything. Seriously, I've never been more careful with anything I own, other than my 2 babies. But again, this looks so good, and even with the tint, your components should still be well lit enough to show them off, but dim enough to hide any imperfections on the inside of your case. Granted, you might need a few extra LEDs in the case for some more comprehensive lighting. Now it's time to get to my personal thoughts of the case. To quickly respond to a few of the opinions I've heard, 1, the cable management really isn't that bad in this case, and 2, the temperatures are nothing to complain about. All I had to do was tighten the side panel a little tighter to more snugly fit my cables, and as for the temps, I've never had any issues with the consistency or performance based on an inadequate airflow. It seems to cool just fine, but I guess I'm not exactly an expert there. That's just my opinion. I actually really like this case. It's the centerpiece of my room and the thing people comment about first when they walk in, and most importantly, I've never had a better looking build before, even though Gladiator is a close second for different reasons. link in the description. If you'd ask me if I'd get one again, absolutely. Pricing aside, this case is very sturdy and holds up well, which actually brings up the fact that I probably won't need to buy a new one anytime soon, further justifying a heftier price. Granted, some people really like change every so often, so maybe if that's your case, it's not as worth it to you. But let's go ahead and talk about the price. At the time I received this sample, this case was a whopping $130 to purchase. The price is still held up in the sense that the RGB variant still available still costs $150. Quickly browsing through Newegg and Amazon for other tempered glass cases would reveal that you can purchase one, albeit a little different in style and extras, for only a fraction of the cost. At that point, it's then up to you to decide. Are you willing to trade a few perks and some of the premium aesthetic for a slightly cheaper quality version of the same case? Granted, there are a lot of cases fashioned in this way, and I can't exactly confirm if that's the original. Well, that wraps up my first ever PC case review on this channel. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comment section below if you have a tempered glass case or if you even think it's worth the money. I have a couple more videos on the way very soon, so hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when it comes out. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Oh, and in case you didn't know, I'm Lee from comptv.